Say I look like JD Vance? Is that what you're saying? Honestly, I don't take that as an insult. Like, I think JD Vance is a good looking guy. So be that as it may, um, like your dad that you kissed. Okay, that's a weird. There's some weird comments, but I'll allow it, I guess, because we still have three people. What are you talking about, bro? It seems like you have some real complexes. It seems like you don't really have any friends either. Let me see. You have what, 113 followers? It's kind of sad. Um, anyway, yo, Ben, I see Ben is joining. Ben, what questions do you have for me? Give me a good question for us to start off with, or I can just talk, just start talking shit without anything. Dude, everyone's been hyping up Bolivian food for me for the past couple months, and I gotta tell you, man, like it's not anything that I would like write home about. You know what I mean? It's not it. What's the best country for girls? I don't know. Bolivia's C tier. Hmm. It's like I think my problem with Bolivia so far with the food is there's no like thing that you like have to get. You know what I mean? And like that always makes it a lot easier when you're going to a new food country, right? So like let's say you're going to Thailand for the first time, right? It's like your first trip abroad, right? And you're like, I want to try Thai food. It's like you know what stuff to get. You know to get pad Thai. You know you get to cow pad ko, whatever it's called. I can never remember the name, but it's my favorite dish in Thailand, right? You know the things to get. Here it's like, what do you get in Bolivia? I've looked up the dishes. It's like there's this thing that's like a type of meat. It's like there's no superstar that you're really excited about. So yeah, we're gonna go. Machu Picchu's in Lima though. It's not in Lima. It's in Cusco though, right? Latvia is the worst idea in the world. Latvia sucks. Um, and I've never been to Latvia, but I feel confident of saying this because I have never once seen a video of an actual passport bro who has gone to Latvia and has talked about all the insane girls that he's pulled. I've not seen any video like one like interviewing women on the street in Latvia and then talking about how they can't find a man and how they want Americans to come in and date, right? I've never seen any of those videos. The only videos that I've seen about Latvia have been AI generated slop videos that reference the fact that there's the largest disparity between men and women. It's like a statistic, and then just goes off of that, right? And it's like clearly what happened is a bunch of Indian AI slop factories went online, found out that just literally just Googled which country has the largest discrepancy between men and women, and just decided to make a bunch of passport bro content based off of that. It's so annoying. It's like, honestly, I want to make an app that's just the internet, but just India's blocked, just like the internet without India. I think it would be. I think like a social media app that's literally just Twitter or TikTok, but without India. I think would be. I think that's $1 trillion idea right there. Um. Anyway, Malaysia's a hidden gem for Americans. They speak English very well there. Yeah, I mean, even without the English, I think the main thing that makes Malaysia so great, besides it being very cheap and everything being of very high quality, which is obviously very important, is that in Malaysia, their language, like Malay or whatever it's called, it's written down with Roman numerals, right? So it's easier for you to understand. One thing that people don't really take into consideration enough is how difficult it is to walk around in a country where you don't even know the alphabet, right? It's one thing if you like don't know Spanish, right? And you're looking at like words like like you're looking for a restaurant, right? It's called like El Cielo Divino, right? And it's like, okay, you don't know that it means the divine heaven, right? But you can read Cielo Divino, and you can pronounce it in your head in a way that's somewhat close to the proper way to pronounce it. If you go to Japan, you have no idea, right? You have no idea what that translation is. And not only that, if you translate that name using Google Translate, and then you walk on the street and you ask somebody for directions to that place, it might have a completely different colloquial name than what Google Translate has translated as, right? So that's one thing that makes a lot of East Asian countries very difficult, I would say. Um, well, yes and no. I'll get into that in a second. But what makes Malaysia and Indonesia a lot easier is the fact that their language is written down. You can, like Sadak Kalum or something. Like you know what that word is. Maybe you're not pronouncing it right, but you know what the word is. Because of that, a lot of East Asian countries, I would say, like have a lot of like I compare it to like when we first started bowling and there's those like safety bumpers. A lot of East Asian countries will have those safety bumper areas, and some of them even like stretch very far. But if you get out of the safety bumper areas, it can be very difficult. Like me and my wife, we were in this area in Seoul called Sindebeng, and I mean, it's obviously it's Korea, so it's like very safe, right? But you know, we spent a lot of time being confused about the names of stuff because we just couldn't get the translations for it. By the way, if you're in Korea, though, I highly recommend do not go to Hongdae. Hongdae is the shittiest place, one of the shittiest places I've ever been. Everyone recommended to me to go to Hongdae when I went to Korea. I didn't because I was just too broke to like get an apartment that I really liked in Hongdae. So instead, we got a place in Sindebeng, and oh my god, we went and visited Hongdae obviously because it's like one of the most famous tourist area, but Hongdae is terrible. Hongdae is not a good time at all. It's all white people. It's all gringos. Everything is built for white people. It kind of feels like a Korean Brooklyn a little bit. And if you like that, that's fine. But for me, I was just like, I really wanted to go and experience actual Korea, not like the Korean that's built for Americans. Um. Anyway, Paulie in the building. South Indians are fire. Liechtenstein is beautiful, but so small. Let's say just go on a day trip from Zurich. Yeah, me and my wife were when we heard about Maduro, we were hoping to go um to Venezuela, but it's looking now that like things will be a lot more unstable than we thought. So we're gonna end up going to Poland in April to watch over my grandma for 3 months. And I really want to like I hate Pokemon traveling. Pokemon traveling is where you literally just go to places in order to say that you've been there. But at the same time, everyone does it a little bit. And so um you know, I just want to like check off a lot of countries off my list, and like Liechtenstein is one of those. Is that a neighborhood or a city? If you're talking about Sindebeng, it's a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood in Seoul, Korea. Here, I'll show you on a map. This is one thing I love about doing this now is that I can now show maps. But somebody said you're literally a gringo calling other gringos gringo. Okay, but like that doesn't change the fact that I don't want to be around other gringos. Like I don't understand what your point is. Like my point is that I do not want to be around other Americans when I'm traveling. What's what's the issue? Um Here let me th- th- this is one shitty thing about the internet, man, is people love making these points that if you just interrogate them for 1 second, actually make no sense. It's like you're a gringo and you're calling other gringos gringos. Yeah, I mean that's the Spanish term for a you know. Why do I need to sell things? Because I'm trying to make money off of this. It's so funny. Like there are people who are like, and I got really pissed when someone you could have created an awesome community, but you're choosing fast money, bro. You don't even follow me, LJ. This is this is what always happens, right? Is people who do not follow me do not understand this channel at all, or the community I actually am building on this channel come to me and critique me for trying to monetize my channel. So let me tell you something, LJ, and I'm not going to go off on a rant like I did the other day, but I've been doing this channel for 8 months now. I've put out on average 1 to 2, sometimes 3 videos a day, right? So some of the ballpark of like 600 videos. I've made almost no money from it. And you're coming to me and you're complaining that like after these thousands of hours of work, I'm trying to make some money out of it, and somehow that makes me a bad person. And by the way, it's not even like I'm selling anything. It's not like I'm doing some like crypto scam. Exactly, I have followed sellout. What do you mean I'm a sellout? What do you mean I'm a sellout? Dude, my videos are free also. Anyway, I'm literally just selling a group package so if people want to go abroad on a trip because I'm trying to make money, because I'm trying to make this a full-time job. Because I actually think it's pretty unfair that I have 50,000 followers. I made like $3,000 off of this TikTok. I think that's ridiculous. Like, sorry. Anyway, it's about community. Notes like you're anyway. So for people wondering, it's about community. Could I don't care if you think my content's genuine or not, bro. Like, stop trolling, or I'm blocking you, man. Anyway, so people are interested. This is the area called Sindibang in Sindibang Dong in Korea, in Seoul, Korea, Jeonru. This is one of my. This place is amazing. You walk around and you see no Americans here at all of the food, all the restaurants you'll go to, it's like you have to translate their menus. Um, anyway, so this is the area I was referring to called Sindibang. I highly recommend you guys go there. But anyway, um, all right, more questions, guys. Um, you see the way people act, and you know what not to do. I Morocco underrated or overrated? I think Morocco is probably like the most underrated place on planet Earth right now. Um, I absolutely love Morocco. I highly recommend it. For people who are interested, um, I put out a video on my YouTube page. Um, it's basically like I have a guy who like has been to Morocco thousands of times. And it's called Going to Marrakesh. Watch this first. I highly recommend if you're thinking about going to Marrakesh, watch that. He's gonna give you all of the areas to go to in Marrakesh. Favorite areas in Asuncion, Paraguay. Looking for areas to live in. Yeah, dude. Here, let's do it. Again, this is one thing I love about this this new format is that I can share my screen with you guys. Um, Give me a second. I just gotta share it on both. Um, all right. Can everyone see? All right, so this is a Sutian. It's kind of funny because like technically this is a Sutian, but like really, really this whole area is a Sutian, if that makes sense. Like people who live in like Luque still refer themselves as living in a Sutian. So um if you're looking at a place to stay in the Suncion, you probably want to stay in Recoleta, Villa Mora, or in Buracao. All these three areas are kind of colloquially referred to. Yo, what's up, Mike? As Villa Mora. Villa Mora is kind of like, are there any Colombians? There aren't really a lot of Colombians in Paraguay. Um, Via Mora is kind of like shorthand in the same way that like Beverly Hills is shorthand in America. And like there are a lot of parts of like West Hollywood that aren't technically Beverly Hills, but people still will call Beverly Hills just because it's basically Beverly Hills. That's kind of Via Mora, Recoleta, and Baracao. I actually prefer Recoleta over Via Mora proper. Mainly because like Via Mora, I think, is kind of ugly if I'm gonna be honest with you. Here, I'll show you guys a street view. So this is Via Mora. One of those things that it's gonna be hard for you to actually like see, but this is Via Mora, and right over here is Recoleta. Most recently, my wife and I stayed in Baracao. Um, but like if you see like Via Mora like looks a lot. I used to live in this building. Via Mora looks a lot more of like down and homely. And Burkau is a little bit run down. Another great area for you guys to stay in is just like this general area. Mall Excelsior. This area, I'm pretty sure it's over here. It's just basically just a giant street, and at night this basically just turns into a giant party. You know what I mean? So if you're looking for the places in Asuncion where you can like go out the most, you want to go over here, Mall Excelsior. What about cities in what are rent prices like if you want a place that's comfortable by American standards? So it's funny you say that because I actually think that like you would want to have a place that's comfortable in American standards, if that makes sense. But here, I'll show you right now. One thing to remember about Airbnb prices is that Airbnb prices are typically 50% higher than what you're going to get on the market. So when I was living in Asunción with my wife initially, we were staying in an Airbnb, and my Airbnb was like $800 for a month, and it was just a studio. And we got our own place, and it was like $800 a month for a two bedroom. You know what I mean? So you like when you look at Airbnb prices, you have to basically think to yourself, it's gonna be like twice as cheap as this if you're actually renting locally. Um, but here this is a loft. This is a pretty nice spot. It's a studio, but you know it's nice. Um, this might have been in my old building. No, this is not my old building, but most of the buildings kind of look the same. But look at this. This is $800 for a month, basically. So I think you'd still probably get like a two bedroom for like $800 a month in Asuncion. So yeah, that's that's what the prices there kind of look like. Las Lomas is amazing in Asuncion. I haven't spent a lot of time in Las Lomas, but you know, definitely. I've been there like a couple times. What? Why did I go there? I went there for the Centro Paraguayo Japones. Went to like the central. We went to the Paraguay Japanese Center. You know what? You've convinced Me to become a passport bro. What South American countries had the best man? Like what South American country is best for being a man? Is that what you're asking? Wow, lives are really falling off right now. Um okay, so I mean in Argentina, no gang for a man, I'm a girl. Oh, okay. Um honestly like you're gonna hate to hear this, but um you're not gonna find better men outside the United States. The reason why passport broing works for men is because literally American women are like the worst women in the world, kind of. I mean, I hate to say it, but like it's kind of true, right? Like if you just look at like the types of stuff that American girls do for American guys, and you compare that to the stuff that all the other women in the world do for their men, women are at the absolute bottom, right? American women are the absolute bottom. And if you look at the stuff that men do for their women, American men are at the absolute top versus other men, right? Like, it's so funny. Like an American girl is like upset at like American guys, and she's like super feminist, and she wants to go marry an Arab. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, I mean the point is that like it's gonna be very hard for you to find a Latino that's gonna be as good as an American man. It's just be very difficult, to be honest with you. Your Spanish good slash great. Um, my Spanish is pretty good. I need to sit down and like really actually study it because I've really just learned Spanish through talking to my wife, and like I can we can communicate. Obviously, it'd be weird if you wouldn't be able to, but um, my grammar is horrible. So like I sound like an idiot most of the time. So I also do this thing where I think there's an underrated aspect of learning a language where you have to not just learn what the right words are, but the way that people in that language say stuff. So like what one like very simple example is that like you know if you like in English, you'll say, "I am 30 years old," right? In Spanish, you say, "I have 30 years," right? And it's just those type of small differences. But if you keep on saying the English version of stuff, you kind of just sound like an idiot. You know what I mean? Like you keep on using the wrong idioms and the wrong words for stuff. So I need to like concentrate on Spanish and actually like learn. I'm 34. Yo, anywhere cheap to try and go find a Latina, preferably Colombian, or any place in the UK. Like, you're looking for a Colombian girl in the UK? Latinas can be good looking, but they're brokes, and rich ones wants Latinas or 10 for 10 bronze. Yeah, that's the big problem, right? Is Chile the most advanced, stable, built up country in South America? Um, uh, yeah, kind of. I'd say. It's between them and Argentina, but yeah, it's probably one of those 2. Can you name all the countries you've been to? I could theoretically, but I don't feel like it. I think people care way too much about country counts. Like I'll talk to people and they'd be like, "Yeah, man, I've been to 58 countries," and I'm like, "Okay, how many days did you spend in most of the countries you've been to?" It's like, "Yeah, man, I was in Brazil for 3 days." It's like you didn't really go to Brazil if you've been in Brazil for 3 days. You know what I mean? Like you didn't really go to Brazil in any meaningful way that can like make you understand Brazil. So I don't really care the number of countries that people have been to at all anymore. It doesn't matter to me in any sense, right? Like I spent 7 months in Brazil. I still feel like I don't really understand Brazil, right? So when someone tells me they've been to Brazil for 5 days and they're like, ask me any question about Rio de Janeiro. I'm just like, bro, like the only questions you can answer about Rio de Janeiro is like describing the airport and telling me about all the tourist locations. I'm gonna move to Chile from Canada. It sucks out here. Um, I don't know if Chile is the best place to move to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of guys who have moved down to Chile, who have spent a lot of time in Chile and have loved it. So I'm not like completely trashing Chile. I'm just saying that like Chile does not really give you the full Latin American experience. And culturally speaking, it has a lot of the similar issues that are going on in the United States and the Anglophone countries. Right. So if you're like, I'm leaving Anglophonia, for Chile, you might end up being pretty disappointed. Oh yeah, definitely watching shows is a good way. I have kids with 2 different women. Is that a deal breaker for Latinas? I mean, it'll be deal breaker for some Latinas, but, like, it won't be a deal breaker for all of those. Um, okay, I mean, just ask me which countries you're curious about, and I'll answer. I don't know how easy it'll be to find a Colombian in the United Kingdom. I'm not I'm not talking about the United Kingdom, I'm talking about Colombia. And also, like, I mean, I've done this rant too many times, but like a a any Latina that you meet in the United Kingdom is not a real Latina. So like where can I find Latinas in the United Kingdom? Nowhere. There's really nowhere you can find Latinas in the United Kingdom. They go on a Kontiki 12 countries in 12 days tour and claim 12. Exactly. And here's the thing now, like people have these like rules now about like can you claim a country if you've spent a day there or a week there? Because I've spent like 6 months now or 7 months now in Brazil, I know how ridiculous it is to claim Brazil if you've even spent 2 weeks there. Now I'm of the opinion like you can claim a country if you've been there for a day, but I just don't care about the countries that people claim. You know what I mean? Haven't been to Malaysia. Yeah, dude. I spent a week in Kuala Lumpur. It was amazing. I would want so me and my wife did like a 5-month tour of Asia. And all of the countries that we spent a month in, we should have spent a weekend. And all the countries that we spent a weekend, we should have spent a month in. Kuala Lumpur is one of my favorite cities on planet Earth. I would 100% like I would move to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow if we could. There's a lot of logistical reasons why we can't, but I love Kuala Lumpur so much, and I highly recommend anybody to live there. And if you're a digital nomad looking for a cheap, beautiful place to like settle down, Kuala Lumpur is at the top of the list. Lima is the most underrated place. Girls are like 80% 3 out of 10, but the 20 last percents are 9.5 out of 10. That's accurate. That's an accurate description of Lima. Argentina better than Chile? I think so. What's your job that you can stay 7 months in Brazil? I was a remote sales rep, so I would just like live abroad. Now I'm a full-time content creator. I just quit my job last week. So you know, if you guys can sign up for this Cartagena group package, it'd be pretty great. I'll be able to pay some bills, but damn, Chad, are we cooked? I mean, you're cooked if you're living in the United Kingdom, which is why you should leave the United Kingdom. Everyone's talking about Colombia, but Peru's the true place to find a Latina. I like. I wouldn't say Peru's the only place, but like Peru is a way better place to find a Latina than Colombia. Ironically, I would say most places on planet Earth are better places to find a Latina than Colombia. Colombia, especially the places people go to Colombia, like 95% of the people who've been to Colombia have just been to Kai 10A in Medellin, Colombia, right? And that's not the place to find a Latina. It really isn't. That's like the worst place to find a Latina. That's like going to like what's it called? Um, that's like going to Encore Beach Club in Las Vegas and being like, "I'm gonna go find my wife here." It's like you're not finding your wife at Encore Beach Club. And even if you happen to be at Encore Beach Club at the same time as your future wife, right? Like I'm not saying that that a girl that goes to Encore Beach Club is definitionally like not a woman you want to marry. That's obviously not true. But like even if you're in Encore Beach Club at the same time as your future wife, and just happen to cross paths there, that is not the time for you to meet her and become husband and wife. You know what I mean? Like that's not the place to meet your future wife. And like Calle 10A in Medellin is not the place to meet a future wife. Um, Dope things. I've been digging to Malaysia. It seemed cool, but didn't know anyone who's been. Yeah, man, I highly recommend it. It's one of those things where like I really think that you can't understand a country or even a city or even a neighborhood until you've actually been there. Um, it's funny, like the more I travel, the more like humble I am about my own travel experience. We're like, you know, before you start traveling, you're like, I'm gonna spend a week in Rio de Janeiro. I'm gonna, understand Brazil. And then like the more time you spend in Brazil, the more time you realize that you don't know anything about Brazil whatsoever. And that's how it kind of feels like a lot of times with places like Malaysia. It's like having never been there, it's hard to like conceptualize it, but Malaysia is the most underrated place in the world right now, I think. Um, Can you compare Colombian and Brazilian girls? What do you mean to compare about them? What do you mean? Chile is more calm and stable. Colombia's game is effed because they've been exposed too much to Americans. Girls are used to have money. That's 100% true. The Beast SB is just spitting facts left and right. Um, the Wait, what? The truth is that like the thing that really benefits you as a passport bro is not even the fact that you're an American, it's the fact that you're different, right? And you're something that these girls have never seen before, right? So if you're going to a place like Rio de Janeiro or Medellin that's filled with Americans, then you no longer have that advantage. You're now something that they not only see every day, but they're actually quite like, tired of. Which country is good if you want good medical care and infrastructure for emergency care? I have no idea, man. I hated Colombia because you'd see groups of gringos clearly on the prowl. Yeah. Um, Colombian versus Brazilian girls or wives and partners. How the girls different? Um, I don't know, man. Like, here, let me show you something. Mm, This is this is honestly what I want. And anytime people ask me about Brazilian girls, I honestly really want this to be the answer. And since we don't have a lot more questions going right now, I'm just like, share this. I'm gonna give the Brazil answer that I've always wanted to give. Right here. Okay. Do you guys see this? Guys see my screen? All right. This is Brazil, right? This is literally half a continent. Do you see this? This is literally half an entire continent. Like it's so difficult to like describe Brazilian women in like one sentence. It's like they're literally half an entire continent, right? This area has a lot of, white Brazilians over here. This is a lot of, mixed Brazilians. There's right over here in Salvador, you have a lot of black Brazilians. Here you have a lot of indigenous Brazilians, right? It's so difficult to like paint Brazil with like one brush, right? So like, when you ask like compare Colombian Brazilian women, it's like, what do you mean by that? Like, if you're asking me to compare Rio de Janeiro and Medellin, which which is what most people are asking when they ask that question, it's like, okay, Medellin is like a place that has completely been taken over by sex tourism, and every single girl you meet is going to be 100% trying to sell you their body. And Brazil is a place that has, a much long-standing culture to it, but most of the women who are interested in Americans are interested in making money off of you. So at the end of the day, they're very similar places. Medellin is just a lot cheaper to get women because it's just kind of turned into like an open air brothel, while Medellin still has its own like culture to it, right? So I think that's the answer you're really looking for, man. Um, to have clean girls in Rio, you have to be used to have girls in your own country. 100%. Vina del Mar is such a W city versus Buenos Aires. But like, I mean, it's such a weird comparison to make because it doesn't really speak to you have to compare apples to apples, right? You can't compare Vina del Mar to Buenos Aires. You have to compare Vina del Mar to Mar de Plata. You have to compare Santiago to Buenos Aires. You know what I mean? Um, is there anything in general across Brazilian girls as a whole like more feminine? I mean, again, like no, there is something more general to like Latinas as a whole in Latin culture, but not really to Brazilians, right? Like you have to remember, like you know, a huge portion of Brazilian women, their families came over in the early 1900s. You know what I mean? Anyway, we got some more questions. My lives have always had like at least 50 people by now. Why are we only at 15? Yeah, so Brazil had this policy called the branqueamento in the early 1900s, and it was literally meant to make the country whiter. Branqueamento, blank means like white in Portuguese, or branqueamento. And so basically what they did was they had these huge incentive programs to bring European immigrants from Italy, Spain, Germany, Poland, Ukraine, all these different places into Brazil, right? So you have these whole communities in South America. Like, so we took a bus from Paraguay to Bolivia, and we literally came across these people that could have 100% have been from like Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? Like it was like a Pennsylvania Amish family in Paraguay. Completely pale white, whiter than me, but full Paraguayan citizenship because they were brought in, into Paraguay in the, early 1900s, right? So you have to realize that like South America is an incredibly culturally diverse place, and to paint Brazilians with one brush is kind of, kind of ridiculous. It's the same way that's kind of ridiculous to paint Americans all with one brush. You know what I mean? Like a lot of Europeans will say that, like, Americans are like this. And it's like, are they really? Because like New Yorkers and Californians are very different. And even if you want to make this like coastal argument, okay, New York and Texans are very different. New Yorkers and Nebraskans are very different, right? So like who are we really talking about when we're talking about Americans? Um Spain, England, seeking for a traditional woman. Okay, I plan to visit Brazil, but barely speak Portuguese. You're fine. You don't need to speak Portuguese to visit Brazil, dude. You're good. Don't worry about it. Spain, England, seeking for a traditional woman. You shouldn't look for a traditional woman in Spain or England. You should look in Latin America. What do you think about passport bros going to Cuba? I think that it's fine. I guess. Um, I haven't been to Cuba, but like one of my general principles is that you should go to places that other people aren't going to. So, if no one else is going to Cuba, you're probably gonna have a lot of success there. What about Canada? Like I put the US, Canada, England, Australia, New Zealand, even France, Germany, Spain. I put all these countries in the same bucket. Is there any Ethiopian immigrants in Brazil? I don't know, dude. Czechia, Poland. Um, Let me just say this, like, people have this, like, misconception about Poland that Poland is, like, this bastion of traditional values. Um, I mean, relatively speaking, it is, but Poland right now you know, um, is getting overrun, to be honest with you. Poland in 15, 20 years is gonna look exactly like, you know, France and Germany. Like Poland's done. Poland's cooked. Put a fork in it. It's gonna look exactly like Bangladesh, like all the rest of the European countries. Your best concept is a tier two city. I completely agree. More rare equals gonna do better. Yeah, man. I mean, it's really, you know, um, one thing you realize when you actually travel is you realize a lot of the stuff that people say on TikTok is completely like lies. Um, and you have these dudes who go to Medellin and just like pose with all these women, and then you go to Medellin and you're like, wait, all of these women were pay for play that you were posing with. What are you talking about? So that's not great. Um, Moldova, Sweden. Like I don't think you should go anywhere in Europe. Stop listing European countries. My answer should be no to all of them. What's happening for Poland for you to say this? Poland is getting a huge amount of like Bangladeshi immigrants right now. They're like entire cities in Poland now that are just completely Bangladeshi. So, you know, um, yo, what's up, Colombian Odyssey? Yo, Colombian Odyssey, like someone was mad at me earlier for um for promoting our Cartagena group package. So what I'm gonna do is in a minute I'm just gonna invite you on and we're gonna talk about it. Fuck that guy. Does it Poland have strict immigration policy or is it just lies? It's basically a lie, 100%. I mean, Poland does not allow illegal immigrants in, yes, but they also allow an insane amount of like actual immigrants in. Like, so here's the thing, right? Your criteria can be as strict as you want, right? If your criteria is based upon characteristics and not based upon numbers, the world has 7 billion people in it, right? Even if you have the strictest criteria, you're still going to get like a million people from Bangladesh, India, the Middle East, and that will still fundamentally transform your country, right? You're still going to end up in parts of Poland that are going to be unrecognizable to a Polish person 50 years ago, right? And Polish people 50 years ago will be like, wait, what the hell? Like, all I fought for? Like Polish people have been fighting for their land for thousands of years. It's like, okay, we're just gonna hand this over to a Bangladeshi now. Anyway, I don't really want to like get into it, but I'm from Bangladesh going to Poland. All right, bro. That's definitely a troll. Europeans are Europeans aren't having babies, so they're bringing more foreigners. This is I mean I don't want to go way down the conspiracy rabbit hole here, but this is what always happens is you have this like leftist intellectual infrastructure that pushes people to not have kids. And then 10 years later, it's like, well, people aren't having kids. So I guess we have to import people and completely change our country. And it's like, okay, well, maybe if you haven't spent the past 10, 20, 30, 50 years trying to get people to not have kids, then maybe you wouldn't have to do that. And it makes it really seem like the whole purpose of the not having kids part was to eventually get the immigrants in, right? Um, Poland's changing is not a good thing. Lots of Colombians, Indians, and Pakistani. Yep, 100%, man. We just spent 3 months in Poland last year, and it was not good. Put a background of a Colombia, Brazilian, Venezuelan girl in bikini. No, dude. I'm 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 promoting this trip in the most soft-handed way. I literally am here answering your questions. I haven't done a single promo for this trip. A single promo for this trip. You can check the recording. It's been 45 minutes. I haven't promoted this trip once. I literally just have a background that says, if you're interested in the trip, click on the link in bio. And people are still fucking bitching about it. People are still fucking bitching about it. Like, you guys seem to have a conception that I'm not allowed to make any money off of this. That I have to spend 5 hours a day minimum putting out free content for you about where to travel to, and I'm not allowed to make a penny off of that. That seems to be your idea. And here's the thing, because there's a guy trolling me about this earlier, right? And he said he unfollowed me because of this. Let me tell you right now, if you're upset about me selling shit, unfollow me right now, or I'll do you one better. Let me know, and I'll block you. Because if you're upset about me after 8 months of putting out free content every single day, literally every single day putting out free content for you, if you're upset about me trying to make a little bit of money in order to be able to do this full time, you're not my fan. You're not a fan of me if you want me to starve. So fuck you. I put this policy in last week. I'm going to start implementing it again. Any single person who complains about me selling shit is an instant fucking block. It's an instant block. Because if you actually cared about me, if you actually were a fan of me, you'd be like, hey man, you haven't made shit from this. And by the way, all my real fans who I actually interact with on a daily basis, they completely support the incredibly mild amount of selling that I do on the site. So I know people are gonna be like, yo, Paul just melted down over this, but like it really is fucking annoying, man. Polish people themselves have changed on their own. Yeah, I mean it's a whole conversation, but I completely agree with you about that. Um, do you want kids? Yeah, me and my wife are working on kids right now. Do you think they really want people to not have kids, or was just natural consequence? I mean, I don't want to go too deep down the conspiracy route, but like it really seems like it. There's a huge amount of anti-natalist rhetoric over the past 30, 40, 50 years. It's hard to like see that as not a coordinated op. If I go on the trip, do I got my own room to bring Colombian girls? Yeah. I have not been to Gibraltar. Cartagena is good for a boys trip. It will be fun for the boat, but you won't meet your wife there. That's 100% true. This is not a wife meeting excursion. This is a going to meet a lot of girls and this is a boats and hoes excursion. Holy cortisol spike. I don't care, dude. Um, there's this. Um, there's this idea that like you shouldn't be allowed to like react negatively to things, and you shouldn't be allowed to have passion when you're talking about things, especially when it comes to your own income. Um, and let me just tell you, like, no, I'm going to be incredibly passionate when it comes to the subject of, you know, me making money for my family. I think you're overblowing if 5% of your audience is negative about it. Yeah, but I mean, like, sure, but I'm getting these comments that are like annoying me, right? So like, here's one thing I think a lot of people don't get is that like, you get like one or two negative comments a day. I get like thousands, right? And this is a product of my reach, right? So even if it's 5% of my audience saying something, It's a very annoying 5%. Anyway, um, Colombian Odyssey. Let's bring you on here. Paul, when are you getting a Venezuelan baddie? I'm already married to a Venezuelan baddie, bro.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I don't know much, man. Just out here in Barranquilla, getting ready for my tattoo tomorrow at 9 a.m. Uh, $200 for a full under the forearm tattoo.
Oh, nice, dude.
So it should be pretty good.
Someone asked me why I don't show my
I'm
wife.
in a $20 a night hotel in
Yeah,
Barranquilla. I walked around outside the hotel,
I think you're breaking up.
and it was awesome. I walked past a coffee shop. I smiled. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you
Let me
better
turn
now.
my camera off. It's not helping any. Okay. Anyway, so I walked past this coffee shop, and this Latina, I smiled at her, and she literally sprinted out of the coffee shop to give me her WhatsApp. And she had a car. It was a nice SUV. It was beautiful. It was a great time. And then another one pulled her motorcycle over to give me her phone number. So
That's awesome, man. I
I'm
mean,
not sure if it's coming through or breaking up. It's kind of
Barranquilla is where Shakira's from.
not the best signal, but
Barranquilla is where
yeah,
Shakira's
I
from.
mean it's been awesome.
Yeah. Yo, why don't you tell people a little bit
Yeah,
about this?
man,
About this?
I'm super pumped about the trip.
Yeah, why don't you tell people about the group trip?
We got a great Airbnb. We've got nice, beautiful ladies that are ready to come out and meet the guys. The boat's ready to go. We're planning on doing a double disembarkation on the boat, basically. So we're gonna have an early departure and then a late departure. So, like, say 10 a.m. and then 12 p.m. And then we're gonna so that everybody can bring a girl with them back to the island. You guys party, and then we'll have an early and a late departure from the islands, and then we have a welcoming party, which we're going to do on the rooftop of the Airbnb. Liquor, bartender, uh, 10 or 15 women at each Airbnb. Have a good time. The chef dinner. Take everybody out, show them around the town, go out, get some drinks, maybe go to a couple clubs, go to some different rooftop bars, do some salsa dancing, meet some ladies. I also have found a really good option for if there's a hangover or if you hit it really hard the night before. There's a company that will come out and give you an IV with vitamins and IV infusion to help with the hangover. Saturday morning, we're going to have before the day starts. We're going to have a massage therapists come into the hotel or to the Airbnb and give everybody massages. Uh, Breakfast and lunch is included every day. It's going to be a really good time. I mean, my parties are always good. I've always been good ever since I was even a teenager. I've thrown good parties, but this one's going to be. People are going to remember it on their deathbed. They're going to be talking with their boys, be like, "Yo, this time I went to Cartagena with that dude, Big Tex, and we partied on his boat, and we met. You can't even imagine some of them. Like, I mean, you see some of the ones I send, they're just so gorgeous, and some of them are just so sweet too. Like for the treatment you get versus what you have to put out for it. Like, so here's a perfect example. I went to the Clock Tower Bar to watch football on Sunday, and there was a Maritina. She was from Kansas City, beautiful woman. and we were chatting, and she's staying for a month in Cartagena. So I actually, when she went up to use the bathroom, I just quickly paid for her food and just was like, just do it as a nice gesture. And I never heard a single thing from her about it. Like, she just kind of ignored that it happened. But you take a Latina out for dinner, she is pretty adamant about coming home with you. Like
Yeah.
Louisa, the blonde that I go out with a lot, I take her out to dinner, and I asked her if she wanted to go back to her house to go home, and she's like, "No, we're going to your house. I'm not going to my house. We're going to your house."
Future
And
wife
then
right
the
there.
other night I was like, "Yeah, we went to the casino together, and we were talking with dinner, and she asked me in the message first. She goes, "Can I sleep over tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, that's no problem." Like, before she even agreed to go to dinner, she was asking me, "Can I sleep over tonight?"
Yeah.
Um, the person that asked if they're paid, yes, a lot will be paid, but there is hundreds that will not require you to pay. If you're taking them on the boat to the island, if you tell one of these girls that that's your plan for the day, I can almost guarantee you they're not going to charge you a dime because they're going to take pictures all day. They're going to have fun. They're not charging you a dime. Same with if you take them out to a nice dinner, they're not going to charge you for the time at dinner. Like, most of them aren't going to charge you even after dinner. But yes, a lot of them are going to want something sometimes because they are putting out a lot of their time and they could be getting paid by other tourists. So yes, some are going to want to be paid, but you're still going to find some that don't.
Yeah.
And right now in Barranquilla, I can't even find one that wants to be paid. Like, I wanted to. I was last night. I was like, what? I just want to pay somebody, get it done, go to sleep. And every single one of my masters in Barranquilla was like, no, I'm looking for a long term relationship. Let's go to dinner. Let's do this. I'm like, man, I'm not looking for that tonight. Another time maybe, but I'm looking for just this. And I couldn't find one last night. It was shocking to me. Um, but yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good time. I can't wait for everybody to come out.
Yeah, we have two spaces open, right? Two spaces still.
Yeah, we have 2 spaces open for the 6 day. Yeah,
Awesome.
and then we still have the 5 day or the 4 day.
Yeah. All right.
So
Awesome, dude.
it should be a good time, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. But
It's 1250 for 6 days, but that includes everything. How many blokes total? 10 people total. It's 1250. That includes everything except for drinks, dinner, girls, and flights. Everything else is included in the
yeah,
1250. Um, bro,
all your excursions, 4 wheeling, the boat.
I'm shocked by like how dead this live is right now. Do you think it's just like people like in the new year just exhausted from like, you know, starting work again, I guess? It's never been this dead on a
I think
Tuesday.
that's possible.
Yeah.
No, I know. I was kind of surprised when I jumped in. There was only like 13 people. I'm
Yeah.
like I'm like, did I kill the live? Did I kill the live? But no, it's picking back up. But yeah, the it's a very reasonable package. I want to make sure everybody has a good time. I want to make sure that everybody enjoys themselves. The excursions are going to be a lot of fun. The 4 wheeling's fun. The boat is always good. You blocked everybody.
I think I blocked one person, right? Or did I block
The
two?
boat.
I'm not sure how many people I blocked.
So basically, I haven't decided what we'll do. If we take the boat out Friday, I might, after we're done, let everybody get changed and then take the boat over to El Centro and then let everybody jump on and off and party on the boat and bring girls back on the boat and have a little party. You know what I mean?
Are Strange fruit.
It
Are you a
feels
Passport
No,
Bro
stranger.
hater that I can fight with? I think that's true, John Calvin. That like my best people are most interested in argue with people. So strange food. Tell me something that I can yell at you for.
I'm in Cartagena right now, and y'all was coming here, and I'm living in the barrios instead of El Centro.
Okay.
Nice. Where you at?
Close to some damn park. I can't even remember the name of the park. It's like 24th
Well, what's the
Street.
barrio?
It's like 24th Street or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But last time I was here, I stayed in El Campestre.
Yeah. What's the name of the barrio though? Is it Teresa's, Marbella?
Let me ask my girl.
Somebody on the YouTube, somebody on the YouTube said it's time for an India rant.
That's nice. Yeah, it's
that also
This is called Bruxelles.
Okay, I know where you're at. It's a little bit. I mean, I was just in Teresa's yesterday with Louisa. That's where she lives. Yeah, I'm out in Boca Grande on the beach. So not right now. I'm in Barranquilla right now, but okay. I made the intrepid trek out here on the bus yesterday. It's always an entertaining experience.
Yeah, I just got done with the ATV tours today. That was pretty nice.
How'd you like it? That's which one did you go with? Did you go over the beach to the mountain one, or did you go with just the beach one?
The beach through the paths of the mountains, and took my
girl. So that's exactly the one we're going on with the group trip in March. So yeah, I do live in Cartagena permanently. Apple. I've lived here since May. On and off, I've been back and forth a little bit. I was in Germany, I was in Thailand, but my home is actually in Cartagena.
What drew you here out of all places?
So in 2021, I came out here and fell in love with it. And then when I got divorced, I was like, you know what? The happiest I think I've ever been was when I was in Cartagena in 2021. Me and my wife had an open thing where I was allowed to do whatever I wanted to do, but it was like I fell in love with it out here, and I said, you know what, I'm happier, and there's no depression out here. Like, you can't be depressed. Like, it's just not possible. You wake up every day, the sun is shining, it's beautiful out. You go outside, and all of a sudden you're mauled by 7 beautiful Latinas asking you for your WhatsApp.
Yeah,
you can't be upset. Like, it's not like in America where you end up it's just not really, it's not possible. Hey, Apple, I actually own the boat in the picture behind Paul, and I rent that out. That's how I make money here. Also, the group trips. Also, I do commissions for Airbnbs, the tours. Anything you want to do, I can probably save you 10 to 20% because of pre-negotiated rates. So that's how I make money out here.
Yeah, I'm a remote sales rep, or I was. I just left my job last week. But yeah, man, I mean it really is crazy the extent to which like um like things like depression, people say it's like a chemical imbalance. I completely disagree with that. I think depression is 100% a result of your surroundings and the situation that you're in life. Like I actually think that like this is kind of a controversial opinion, but like I think a lot of people who are depressed, I'm like, you should be depressed. You know what I mean? Like, look at your life and like you should be depressed about your life. And I think depression for a lot of people can be a very healthy thing. Like, depression is you looking around at like the material aspects of your life and saying, this isn't good enough for me, right? And that's a positive reaction for most people, and you need to use that depression to change your life, right? So
exactly.
I think people like how should I deal with my depression? Like, should I go to therapy? Should I take drugs? It's like, no, you shouldn't do anything like that. You should change the things about your life that are making you depressed. And fundamentally, like it's kind of a trope and people kind of make fun of it. Like I remember there was an article that was like circling around. It was like a fake headline that was circling around like 2-3 years ago. It was like, man on the verge of, ending his life goes to Mexico, parties with prostitutes and drugs for 2 weeks, and then decides that he no longer wants to end it. You know what I mean? It's like, people kind of laugh at those headlines, but it's like, yeah, I mean, like, if you actually do that, if you actually like go abroad and you actually do live the life they've always wanted to live, even for just a couple of weeks, I think that cures depression way more than any like, Ritalin or whatever drug that they're prescribing for depression. That's much healthier to actually cure the material circumstances that are causing that depression. As somebody who spent a lot of my time depressed, I think that's the actual solution. Versus, a lot of these psychiatrists will come to you and say, "Oh, you need to go to therapy." And it's like, "Oh, you mean I need to go pay you $200 every week in order for me to not be depressed anymore?" That's really convenient.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly, and that's the way I look at it. Like, for me, the cure to depression really is just being here. That everybody's so much happier across the board. Like, honestly, I had a wonderful conversation because I understand more Spanish than I can speak. I had a wonderful conversation with my cab driver about the Maduro situation with Venezuela, and we had a wonderful conversation. I brought it up, and it was a peaceful, cordial conversation. You can't have that with most Americans. Like, it's just not.
I,
It's not how it works. And then you walk around like the guy that checked me in this hotel.
Wait,
I just
can I
came back
can I
from
interject one thing? Because I actually have a funny story about that.
yeah
My brother just came to visit for Christmas, and I've
yeah.
this is kind of unrelated, but yeah, I've become very religious recently, and him and I had like a multi-day argument about religion and God and all that type of stuff. And he kept on saying to me, he's like, "Hey man, like,
Mhm.
I don't want to offend you." And then he said like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Man, you really weren't offended by this." I realized like how offended people get in the United States when you talk about politics, religion, all this type of stuff, because they are upset, because they're depressed,
Mhm.
because they tie their happiness to them being right. And for me, like, I would never
Mhm.
get upset with somebody over an argument about religion or about politics because I'm like, I don't, like whether I'm right or that or not doesn't affect my happiness in a material way. So like, say whatever you want,
Oh.
I don't care. Anyway, sorry, could continue. I apologize for interrupting.
So the guy that checked me into this hotel yesterday, super nice guy. I bought a beer from him. It cost $1 to get a Heineken at reception. And then I'm walking in, and the guy gives me a big hug, and he's like, everybody's so happy, and then they and get better with my Spanish. I mean, I'm pretty good at it, but I'm not great at it. And they're sitting there, especially since I was gone for dealing with my mom's stuff for a couple weeks. I lost a lot of it, but when you try, everybody's so happy and excited that you're trying, and they're patient with you, they work with you. But this guy, I came back today, and he came out from behind the desk again and gave me another hug. Like, he was so happy to see me.
That was dope. I can I
Like,
say something real quick? I'm sorry.
yes, go
I
ahead.
got an army buddy, right, that has been through combat. He's got severe PTSD, and he's tried to off himself a couple of times. Well, I got in touch with him, and I asked him to promise me that he would not do anything until he got his passport. So my deal is, I told him, we're going to fucking Colombia, and after a week, you won't feel that way again. So he's trusting me. I'm waiting for the passport to get here. So I'm gonna show him what's worth living for.
Well, so
Listen,
if you
when he
guys,
gets here,
continue. Go ahead.
when he gets here, I want you to add me, and I want you to message me. When he gets down here to Cartagena, I'm gonna take him out. Now I'm gonna show him a good time on the boat. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it big. It's all on me. Nobody, he didn't have to pay a dime for it. To thank him for his service. He's gonna have a good time with me, and he gonna want to live. He's gonna want to move in. Like he's gonna be like, listen, how do I rent a room in your place permanently? Like that's how it's gonna be after a few minutes.
Just like a personal story, I was really depressed when I went down when I started my trip around the world. Honestly, part of me starting my trip around the world was just being so severely depressed that I was just like, "F it, why not?" You know what I mean? Like I'm literally thinking about ending my life
Mm-hmm.
every day. So like at least I'm gonna like have a fun trip, and if I want to like end it at any point, I can do that. And I remember when I started my trip, I had like really severe depression, so it took me, more than just a week or two to like cure it. But I remember thinking to myself every day, I was just like, all right, I'm just giving myself like 2 more days. You know what I mean? Like why not just give
Mm-hmm.
myself 2 more days? I'm having such a good time. I don't have to end it today versus two. Like, why am I in a rush, right? And then myself 2 more days, 3 more days, a week, a month, 2 months, 4 months. I met my wife, and now I haven't thought about ending my life in probably a year and a half. Seriously, in like a serious way. I haven't thought about it in any way for like at least a year. So I think a lot of people, and like I was in this place where like you get really depressed, you get really down, and you really feel like there's no way out of it. And I'm here to tell you there is a way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you really just have to buy yourself that week, that 2 weeks. And if you're on the edge where you're like, hey man, like there's no reason for me to keep on going, it's like, okay, well then why not spend a week in Medellin before you decide to end it? Well, why not at
Can we
least
just call
go
you
go
the
out with a
travel
bang?
pastor because you're taking us to church?
Yeah, man. I mean, I really view what I'm doing as not just telling people where to meet hot women. Obviously like those are the videos that get the clicks, but I really think that travel is more of a spiritual thing that really can turn men's life around. Besides just sleeping with women, I mean, sleeping with women I think is important, obviously, but I think
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
overall effect it has on you is really the more important thing. What neighborhood of Cartagena is the
Something
mansion
to be
in?
desired again by women.
Sorry, what?
It's
Not
close
that
to
you
the
I'm sorry.
one second. It's close to the area of like San Diego and El Centro. It's near La Sarasuela Mall.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, hey Paul,
Strange
I
fruit.
just sent you a picture. I just sent you a picture of the Latina that literally sprinted to give me her phone number this morning.
Let me see that.
I don't know if you can share it on the screen.
Yeah, dude, I can
I sent it
share.
on WhatsApp. I don't know if you can share it on screen. Literally, she sprinted to give me her phone number. It's the most dressed up like one she had on her Instagram.
Here,
But I mean, she had her own car. It's
I'll
crazy.
share it just on the TikTok because the YouTube gets
Yeah.
recorded.
They get weird.
So yeah.
Okay.
Like when I say she was in line getting coffee, she stopped what she was doing. I smiled at her, and she came out with her phone out with WhatsApp ready to go. Like she was like, "Hey, WhatsApp," and I was like, "Okay, yep, sure, no problem." And I scanned it, and I went about where I was going, and I texted her, and she sent me that photo. And I was like, "All right, we're gonna go to dinner tomorrow after my tattoo." So
Someone asked, I'm
this is
traveling to
crazy.
Peru with a Colombian I met a month ago. Am I dumb? Not in a relationship. Generally speaking, you shouldn't bring.
Signal there. I
Yeah.
lost signal for a second, buddy.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So generally speaking, you shouldn't bring sand to the beach. That being said, Peru isn't like the best beach. So like, of any Latin American city, Peru is the place I would bring a girl on a trip. If that makes sense. But like Lima, Peru. But generally speaking, like, you should, if you meet a girl a month ago, you shouldn't be traveling with her. Like even my wife, me and my wife had like one of the most aggressive on ramps of a relationship that I've ever had in my life. Like we literally went from not knowing each other to spending every day with each other, like within like a day. Even so, it was like months, like 7, 8 months before we went on a trip together. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
like going on a trip with someone is kind of like a pressure cauldron of a relationship. It really like creates a lot of tension, and I just don't think it's really worth it a lot of the time. What do you guys think?
I agree 100% on that. When I was married, when we were dating, I think it was like 3 or 4 months till we went away for a weekend together, and then I don't think I've ever had a relationship where I got on vacation with them within any faster.
Yeah, it's just not a good, you know.
It's not
Um,
good. It's not. It's not. I mean, it depends on the person, though. It could be
yeah.
an amazing idea. It's just, yeah.
Its own tensions.
Oh, I
Because
can't go to Colombia right now. We spend every day together for a month. Okay, that makes more sense. Why can't you go to Colombia? Were you kicked out of Colombia, bro?
Come on now, you gotta be pretty. You'd be wasted to get kicked out of Colombia. I mean, I've been kicked out of countries before, but Colombia kind of lets you rock out. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think I've ever been kicked out
it's
of a country. Actually,
yeah.
oh, political tensions.
I
What,
was
what,
I was
what
kicked out oh, okay.
people really overstate these
Honestly, I wouldn't.
people overstate these political tensions. It's like you have to realize like, on the ground in these countries, people don't really care that much. I mean, maybe let me know
Not at all.
if Colombia is different, but like I remember there was like a
Nope.
war going on between like Thailand and Cambodia, and I made a video about going to Cambodia, and everyone was just like, what are you saying? There's a war right now. I was like, dude, I'm literally in Thailand at this moment, and unless you read the news, you would
Nobody
have
cares.
no idea a war is going on.
Well, let me give them a suggestion. Do not travel with a "Make America Great" hat on. That's probably a problem.
Honestly,
Listen, man, even
it's
not they don't care. Some of them
people don't care.
Some of them are happy.
Why
ask them about the Maduro? They
Yeah.
were happy.
And by the way,
They don't care.
my wife is Venezuelan. Even before the election, her family was pro-Trump. It was like, they're like, yeah, why would you allow a bunch of illegal immigrants into your country? Like, sure, they're Venezuelan, but like, it's still a bad idea. You know what I mean? So like, people in Latin America are actually pretty conservative, generally speaking. Like, Brazil is known as this like sexually libertine country. Brazil outlaws abortion after 8 weeks. I'm not like
Most
a lot
people
of
don't even know they're pregnant.
yeah, they're
being all the orange juice.
there are a lot of I think there are a few Latin American countries where gay marriage is still not legal. Like, it's a pretty conservative place generally speaking, even in like the crazy places like Medellin and stuff. I think that what happens a lot of time is that people map our political lines onto other countries.
Yeah.
I had a friend in Brazil who was like really anti Donald Trump. I mean, I say I had a friend; she's still my friend. But like, I saw her posting like pro Maduro stuff, and I was like, all right, like that's how crazy she is.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Something I've run into here is that, like, I might run into a Venezuelan that has family that went up to America and went to the U.S. and then got caught in the immigration in the immigration roundup. So depending on who you talk to, it's mixed feelings.
Yeah, but like,
I got stories for that.
Here's the thing, though.
Tell the story.
Here's the thing about that, and then you can tell the story. But like it's only white women in America who believe that the entire world has a right to live in America. Even the Venezuelans who come to America and like get caught up and get deported, Like those tears that you see on television, those are fake tears for the cameras because they know it's gonna help them stay in America. Every single one of them is like, yeah, I have no right to live in America. What are you talking about? Of course not. You know what I mean? Like they're not stupid. They understand the game that they're playing. You know what I mean? And like they don't think they have a right to live in America either. They just know that if they go cry on camera, then stupid liberal American women are going to allow them to live in their country and give them free money. I remember my wife, and sorry, I'm going on a rant, Colombian, but like, you can go in a second. But I remember my wife,
Yeah, it's all good.
recently after we got engaged, she was like, all right, like, how much free money do you get from the US government, by the way? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, all my Venezuelan friends in America get free money from the US government. She's like, my friend Joanna lives in the suburbs of New York, has her own house paid for by the American taxpayer, has a car paid for by the American taxpayer, gets free money from the government, and then on top of that, works a job and sends the money back to Venezuela, right? So they know the grift that's going on. They're under no illusions that they're like, these like, put upon refugees that are being discriminated against. They know how cynical it is. The only people that don't are white liberal women in America. Anyway, sorry, Brendan, go ahead.
Okay, so I got a little bit of advanced connection right now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah.
Right? 1 second there. It's getting better. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So on Friday night, I met a Venezuelan who had a video of her being deported. She gave me her WhatsApp, and it was a Texas phone number. And I was like, why? You're from Texas? And she's like, no, I just got deported last week. And she was in Colombia after getting deported from the U.S., making her way back to the U.S. That was her goal. Was she came over to Colombia, and she was working her way up to get back. And I was like, that's insane. Like, literally, she had a video where her friend shot of her being deported. And I had to laugh. So she didn't care. She was totally cool about it. And it was just so funny to me that she had the actual video, and it was dated like a week before that she was deported, and she was already making her way back. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Can I ask you
it was very
question?
funny.
Let me know what you guys think about this. It seems like there was a time where the role of a woman in America was redefined, where everything that we knew the roles of a home to run a home was totally thrown out the window, and it was redefined. And then here recently we got a lot of sexuality redefined. But there was never the redefining of the role of a man. And then a lot of times that puts us in crazy places to want to interact with other people. It's almost like we're wrong for being us. But then you go outside of America to other countries and they appreciate the masculinity.
I mean, I like
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this, man. I 100% agree with you on everything you just said. I would even go further to say it's even more cynical than that, right? It's more. I would say it's more of a manipulation tactic. The reason why they don't redefine what a man is because they want to trap you in this double bind, right? They want you to have to be chivalrous when it benefits them, right? But be 50-50 when it benefits them, right? And men are in this position where you're getting bullied and harangued and attacked by your overall culture constantly, not for any legitimate reason, but literally as just a manipulation tactic to get to wrangle as much out of you as humanly possible, right? And as a man, you shouldn't stand for it. As a man, I think fundamentally, the reason why men should move abroad is because the hand that men have been dealt in America is completely unjust, but I would also say disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting the way that men are being treated in America. First of all, men are being wholesale discriminated against when it comes to getting a college degree, when it comes to getting a job in America. Men are constantly being told by everyone around them how evil they are for being men. You go into a workplace as a man in America, there are all of these initiatives, all of these things meant to like help women advance. And as a man, you get absolutely none of that. You get discriminated against, right? And you're told, well, as a
Mhm.
man, you guys have been running the world for the past 10,000 years. And you're like, wait, wait a second, I'm 25. I haven't been running shit. What are you talking about? It's like, well, we need to,
We're
you
the
know,
first to die in wars too.
exactly.
Mhm.
And like women are like, well, we need to like deconstruct male power. It's like, okay, deconstruct the power of the CEOs who are in power right now. Why are you discriminating against me as a 25-year-old who's just trying to get my first job and start my life? But the reason why they do that is because you're the one without any power. So it's easy for them to attack you. So it's hard for men to get in college. It's hard for men to get the first job. It's hard for men once they get that job to advance in their career. And then women turn around and they're like, "Well, I don't want a man who makes as much money as me. I want a man who makes more money than me." And you're like, "Wait a second. You have this entire social infrastructure
Mhm.
built to make sure that men and women get paid the same. But then now every single woman is telling you that you're a bum if you make as much money than her. How are men supposed to find women to settle down and have a stable family and marriage with?" And the answer is you're not supposed to. The entire
Yeah.
purpose of this is to destroy
Yeah.
your life. The entire purpose of this is to make every single person miserable. And the reason why, well, there are a lot of reasons why a lot of people benefit, but fundamentally, the reason for this is because, and this is what people call horseshoe theory in like this most crystallized form, because I'm making both a right wing and a left wing attack, right? Because I think that the reason for this is because it benefits the people who own capital in America, right? Because if you are a 35-year-old woman who is married and has 5 kids, is taking care of them, right? You're not worth as much to the CEOs and the people who run the country as the 35-year-old woman who has 500 bodies, can't find a man to settle down with her, so now needs to dedicate the rest of her life to working in a corporate position, right? And as a man, you're going to now work so much more harder because you need to make so much more money in order to be able to find the basic type of woman and the basic type of family that a man 50, 100 years ago didn't have to work anything in order to get, right? So now men have to work harder. Women have their entire fundamental roles in life redefined and destroyed, so now they have to work. And the entire purpose of this is to just get men and women to be constantly working, constantly being economically productive, not have kids, replace them with immigrants, which is a lot cheaper because you now don't have to pay for education, don't have to pay for childcare. You get all these ready-made workers when they're age of 21. And I just think it fucking sucks. I think as an American man, you should say, I don't want to be part of this screwed up system. I want to go find a woman abroad who wants to have the traditional family, who wants to cook for me, wants to clean for me, wants to support me, and I'll support her back. And we have this traditional relationship that has existed everywhere in the world for the past 10,000 years. And it's only 50 years ago that we decided that this thing sucks. And it's clear that the results of that have been absolutely disastrous because divorce rates are up, fertility rates are down, self-ending rates are up, SSRI use is up, depression is up. No one's happy. Everyone's miserable. This fucking sucks.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's my rant
It
about
does.
this. Let me know if you guys agree or not.
Preach, brother,
Oh,
preach.
100%. 100%. You're saying exactly what I say because, like, a perfect example is the last American girl I dated right after my divorce. I tried to make work before I moved here. She made almost 7 figures. She works as the director for SEI, which is like a big hedge fund, and she was just so hard to deal with. And she was like not that attractive, frankly. She was 40. I would cook for her, and I was just like, I can't deal with this shit, man. I have money. I'm going down to South America, and then I went back to Colombia and I bought my boat, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is the life I want. And when I hang out with Louisa the other day, she made me breakfast. We were She made sure I had food. She's always that type of person, always checking in. Did you eat today? Did you do this? Did are you okay? Do you need anything? And then like today when I was out here in Barranquilla, there was a shop that has like replica bags and stuff. She asked me if I could find one for her when I was shopping. I found it for her. I bought it for her, and she's so excited about it. Like you should see the messages from her. She's so happy.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not even in a relationship, but she is such a good person, and so many of them here are so nice and so polite and constantly check in on you.
And
it's so refreshing.
Off of that point, I would say one thing. Like one thing that I really love about Christianity is this concept of hate the sin but love the sinner, right? Hate the sin but love the sinner. And this is the thing that I think is really important to remember when it comes to feminism, is that I think it's very easy to be mad at feminists, right? But I think that feminism is the problem, not feminists, right? I think that that woman that you talked about, right? The one who's like 40, almost making $1 million a year, but it's impossible for you to actually have a relationship with, right? I think she is as much of a victim of this, if not more of a victim than you and I are, right? Because she's now 40 years old, and it's going to be impossible for her to find someone to settle down with. The nice thing about being men, is that we have an escape route. We can move to Colombia. We can move to Asia. Like we have this more traditional thing. The woman who's spending her entire life pursuing a career and then realizes that it's all bullshit and she should have spent her time having a family, she has no options. She has nothing to do. And so I think that like in a lot of ways. What?
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just saying like
you're gonna say. I'll say what I'm gonna say after.
Yeah, I'm just saying like they don't really have an option to leave at that point. I mean, they can be like, hey, I'm just gonna be a housewife, but who wants to marry a 38-year-old woman, right? And so all this to say that I think that it's a system that is destroying everyone's lives, and as a man, I think that you should leave the system and go find a system that's actually a lot more better for you. One person said, and I'm going to turn it back to you, find it hard to express my emotions because they expect you to be a man and just listen. This is one thing that I think is really crucial that you have to keep in mind, is that women in general, fuck. Sorry, I got disconnected for a second. Feminists do not have your best interests in mind. They are not arguing with you in a way to benefit you. They are arguing with you in a way to extract resources from you. So you cannot accept their framing of the argument when engaging in an argument with them. All this to say that if they're like, hey, why are you complaining about this? It's not manly for you to complain about this. You have to realize they're not saying that because they want you to be more of a man and be in touch with your masculinity. They're using that masculinity as a wedge, as an attack vector against you in that situation because it's beneficial to them. In 5 minutes, they're going to turn around and they're going to accuse you of toxic masculinity. Right? They're using whatever attack vector they think they can be effective in that specific situation. So you cannot buy into their narrative. You need to be clear-eyed with them and say, no, this is something that is corrosive, destructive, and completely disintegrating the fabric of Western society and frankly making my life miserable. And I don't care if you think I'm a man or not by complaining about it. I'm going to keep complaining about it. And more crucially and more importantly, as a man, yes, we should complain about it. Yes, we should go in these spaces. Yes, we should argue with feminists, all of that stuff. But more crucially, you have to realize that your life and your happiness is your responsibility. And you cannot wait for the rest of society to change in order for you to be happy. And that's why you need to go abroad and find your Latina wife today and then engage in the argument to like change Western civilization and make America better and all that type of stuff. Okay, we can do that later. Your first priority right now, especially if you're feeling depressed, especially if you're unhappy with your life, is you. Your first priority needs to be you. Anyway, go ahead, Columbia Odyssey.
Yeah. Like, so that lady that I was saying about that's in her 40s, she messaged me about 2 months ago and was like, hey, I'm going on a trip. I'm going to the DR. Can you meet me there and go with me? I'll pay for all of it just because she wanted to experience it, and she would have been there right now. As we speak, we would have been there together right now. And she sent me a message like 2 weeks ago. Hey, they laid a couple people off at my business. I can't leave. I have some clients that I have to make happy. I can't go. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, this is ridiculous. You're gonna sit there and you have so much money. You could live the rest of your life and never work another day in your life abroad, but you can't let it go. I said, you're just sitting here working to your 60, and you're going to leave your stepdaughter, because she never could have kids of her own. She has an adopted stepdaughter. You're going to end up leaving her $30 million from your 401k that you can't use. Like, that's all it is. You're benefiting her life only. You could still benefit her life immensely, but you can live your life. Like,
oh, sorry, continue.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. Like, that she just let her boss be like,
yeah.
well,
So you
need to take this.
I completely agree with you. I'll add two things to that. The first one is like I have a friend who I talk to a lot who like says that he wants to like move abroad. Like this guy has millions of dollars in assets, millions, and I'm like he's like, yeah, man, I don't understand why I'm still working. Like why why we can't just he's married, he has a kid. He's like, I want to spend my time with my kid. I want to just move to Thailand, but my wife, doesn't want to do that. My wife still wants to be in the rat race and stuff because it's like we need to buy this new car, we need to buy this new thing, and it's so insignificant if you realize in the long term, like trying to get all of these things and not realizing the most important thing is experiences. And off the point of the stepdaughter, the funny thing is that like the thing that actually benefits the stepdaughter most is spending time with them. Like kids need time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what you buy for them. Like things are so, like material objects are so inconsequential. I can tell you,
Absolutely.
like I've had some of the, I've eaten at 2-3 Michelin star restaurants. I've eaten at some of the worst taquerias on planet Earth. I've been in some of the nicest cars. I've been in some of the worst cars. It's really not that big of a difference. Like genuinely speaking. I saw a post on Twitter the other day that I found really interesting where it's like, if you think about it, like Jeff Bezos has the same iPhone that you do. You know what I mean? Jeff Bezos has the same Twitter feed that you do. Like we're getting to a point in society where the actual material differences between the super wealthy and normal people are not actually that different. The thing that's most important is time. And so if you're somebody who's able to spend quality time with your family and your friends, that's worth so much more than like an additional zero in your bank account, which I think is worth absolutely nothing. Let me see. How long did it take to be official with a Latina? Yeah, they do move pretty fast. If they like you, they're gonna like, claim you very quickly. My wife, our second week of dating, we broke up for a few hours because I texted her to come over and she was just like, no, I'm going to my nephew's birthday party. And then so I was like, okay, cool. So I took a nap and then I woke up from the nap to like 100 missed calls and like 100 missed messages. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was 100 total of mixed calls and messages from her. Like, hey, I'm breaking up with you. You're not responding. Are you with another woman? Back and forth, like craziness. Literally an hour nap. And if a Latina's not doing that over you, she's not interested. That's the case in point about that.
Not to be Debbie Downer on user. Sorry.
Yeah, go
not
for
to
it.
be Debbie Downer on user's relationship, but if he's saying that after a month she didn't want to say that they're official, that's kind of, that can be kind of a rough thing. I mean, she may not be that idiot. Just to say it. I mean, like if I asked Louisa to be official and was like, hey, let's call this thing where we're in a relationship, I don't think that even at this point that after we just started talking to each other again after less than a week, that she wouldn't be like, absolutely, 100%. Like if she sees me, I'm out here in Barranquilla, I was buying that bag for her, and my friend that was showing me around is a woman, and she had her hand on the counter. I was like, no, if I take this picture and your nails are in this photo,
She's gonna kill
going
me.
to ask me, who is that? Yeah, she's going to say, who the fuck is that? And I was like, you need to back up. I don't even want your reflection in the glass of the case
Oh
as
yeah,
I take this photo.
100%.
Well, I
People,
feel like
people,
you can just
people,
be another customer waiting.
people think that's exaggeration. It's not. They will 100 if they're
It's
into you,
not.
they'll 100% do that. So Colombian Odyssey is way nicer than I am. I'm not like I think tough love is what everyone needs. Like that girl is not into you. She's not. You need to leave that relationship 100%. This is kind of like male Oprah, I think, a little bit. So if you guys have like relationship questions, feel free to ask. But that Latina is not into you. You need to go find a new one, because if after a month she say that you're rushing, like my Latina was asking me to get married after like 3 months. You know what I mean? Like that's how fast they go in Latin America. And 3 months, she was like, "Hey, I'm being patient here." you know. So yeah, that
Like,
girl's
where's
not
my
into
ring? Like,
one
yeah,
hundred
Louisa
percent.
made a joke about that after like 2 weeks. Like, the first time we were dating back in May, like for 2 weeks, she was like, "Oh, well," she's showing me pictures of wedding rings. I'm like, "Yo, listen, that is not happening. Like, I
Yeah,
don't care how awesome you are, how crazy in bed you are, how much you like to cook for me and clean for me. I am not getting married again after I just finalized my divorce and lost half of my shit. Like, you've got to be out of your mind."
if you guys are wondering, Colombian Odyssey is getting married in 3 months. I'm calling it.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. All of a sudden,
that's a telltale
the group
sign.
trip's going to be a group wedding trip. It's going to be a group wedding. Like, all right, guys, everybody, you guys are now my wedding party. Sorry,
Dude,
we have this outfit.
that's what Latinas do though. They will 100% do that that like rug pull, where they
I
come to
understand
you
what you mean.
and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm wild, I want to be like, with other women, I'm completely fine with you sleeping with other women. And then like 2 years later you find yourself, married, sitting at home with a child, watching Netflix, every night, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, what the fuck
Yeah.
happened? I thought I was marrying a freak. It's just like, no,
Like,
she put that on. She was, a bait
yeah.
and switch is the term. Can I find a
Well, she was
conservative
in
white woman in
the
Paraguay? Um, sorry, I was just answering this question. Can I find a conservative white woman in Paraguay? Yes. There are a lot of white women in Paraguay, and it's a very conservative country. Anyway, sorry, continue, Colombian Odyssey.
yeah, she was the one in my video that I said that I'm in the non-tourist area of Colombia after flirting too hard. Like, you can see, she just totally relaxed in her pajamas. She doesn't care. Like, she's very chill, but man, she's very defensive of me. Like, she is everywhere we go. She's like, make sure you don't do this, and trying to tell me what not to do in certain areas. And
Oh yeah, dude, you're cooked.
yeah, I'm a little nervous when we end up. I'm pretty cooked.
For
But
some reason,
it is what
like
it is.
people are requesting to be co multi guests, and then I'm accepting, and like it's dropping off. I just want you to know that like that's not me. I'm accepting these requests. Um, Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
damn, I need that kind of love. I mean, here's the thing: like people joke about Latina toxicity, and obviously, like I joke a lot about like Latina toxicity, but like it is so much better to have a woman who is completely devoted to you in a relationship over the type of love that you get in
Mm-hmm.
America, where women are like completely aloof, completely don't care. You know what I mean? Like yeah, are there problems with
I
it?
agree 100%.
Obviously, but like I would 100% prefer that over the type of love that you get in the United States. One really nice thing about Latinas, but also like about having a traditional style relationship, is that like a way that I describe it is like imagine having a person in your life who's just completely their entire focus in their life is making sure that you're happy. Not even like doing things to
Mhm.
make you happy, like cooking, clean, that type of stuff, obviously, but like they spend all of their time every day thinking, is he happy? Is he healthy? Is he like in a good position? And if he's not,
Did
what
you
can I
eat yet? Did
do?
you drink?
Yeah, exactly. Like what can I do to make sure that he is the healthiest and happiest version of himself? And as a man, you really don't put that much mental energy into that, especially me. Like, look at me. And so having somebody who literally is just completely devoted and
Man,
dedicated to that makes your life so much better. It's the ultimate fucking cheat code. Um, what about the language barrier? Bro, Spanish
I think
is
Alan just trying to call me.
oh, dude, yeah, yeah. Do you want to drop off and come back
Mhm.
on?
No, he called and I think we spoke on the phone earlier. I think he just accidentally hit the button.
Oh,
He's
okay.
probably sending me a text message, so that's
Alan's
what it
dope.
is. Or he might be in the live and just Alan's cool. He's a cool guy. He's coming out in the beginning of February. I got him lined up.
I think as men we're vulnerable to female kindness. I wouldn't even say vulnerable. Like it's what you need as a man. You know what I mean? But yeah. So
100%. You need that.
in terms of the language barrier, like Spanish, I would say is probably the easiest language to learn in the world for an
Hmm.
English speaker. If you think about English, English is basically French and German mixed together. And French and Spanish share an incredible amount of words with each other. They're both Romance languages. They both come from Latin, and so it is incredibly easy. And the thing is that like the the words from French in English more closely resemble their Spanish counterparts than they do the French words, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
it is so easy to learn
Absolutely.
Spanish. You literally just like so many times when I'm talking to my wife, I literally would just be like, what's an English word that's kind of like this? And then let me just add yendo to it or something like that. And a lot of times you literally can like just like guess the word based off of that. Um, one one little historical thing that I'll say, this will sound like a really weird side note, but it actually crystallizes this. It makes it a lot easier to learn Spanish. Is that so? The reason why English is French and German mixed together is because in pre 1066, most people who lived in England were of German origin, and then in the year 1066, William the Conqueror came from France and conquered England. And so what happened was you had the lords and the royalty that all spoke French. Literally for 400 years, the King of England only spoke French, and the poor people all spoke English. And the reason why this is important is because if you're trying to figure out what word corresponds to the Spanish word, is always think what is the more pretentious word? Like, what is the word that a lord would say and not a peasant? And that actually makes it a lot easier for you to understand it.
Yeah.
Pure exposure to Spanish speaking countries
Honestly,
really helps. Yeah, 100%. I mean, sorry,
yeah.
continue.
Once you're here, that's what like I can listen to Spanish and understand about 60-65% of it. But then when it comes time to speak it back to them, I'm like, okay, let me get my translator out. Let me speak it to them, and that is definitely helping them immensely. And I'm so much better than I was. So the first time that I came back out here in May, and I was here for several months, I was almost fluent. Then I went to Germany, then I went to Thailand, then I went to Italy and all those other places. And I was home for a little while, and then I lost a lot of my Spanish. And then being back here now for like a little over a week, it's like everything's back. It's I'm going pretty fast with it now. So,
Yeah.
but
What I would recommend people do is like, uh, is use an app like Duolingo to get a
Mm-hmm.
baseline together, and then once you have that baseline, you just speak Spanish to people, and you'll be able to pick it up pretty quickly. But all you really need to do is just study to get that baseline to the point where you can like have a conversation with people, and then once you're able to do that, it becomes pretty easy. Literally just started using that Duolingo. Yeah, Duolingo is great, man. Um,
Duolingo is good. Yeah.
a lot of people will like shit on Duolingo, and then you talk to them, and it turns out they've only used it like for 5 minutes a day, and they're like, I've been using Duolingo for 5 minutes a
Mm-hmm.
day for a month.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah. What? Why don't I speak fluent Chinese yet? And it's like, well, you need to put some effort into it. One thing that I used to always do with Duolingo is like a lot of times, I'm pretty sure we're all like this. You'll put on like a movie on like Netflix or a TV show or even a YouTube video, and you don't really care about it that much, but you just kind of want to have something on. In those situations, what I would always do is I would use Duolingo in those situations. So if you put on like The Office, just because you're bored and you want to have something on, just sit down, put on Duolingo, and just um, you know, rotate between it. And then on top of that, just like while you're doing that, watch The Office in Spanish with English subtitles, and it becomes even more
Mm-hmm.
easy. Um, I learned Spanish just by listening to Milei's speeches in 2022. Uh, yeah, dude, Milei's the goat right now, isn't he? Um, we're constantly changing our plans. We were thinking about going to Venezuela, but I think that plan is completely out the window now. So we're gonna be spending a couple months in Argentina, which I'm pretty excited for. Thoughts on Dominican
Um,
women? What are your thoughts on Dominican women,
ugh.
Colombian?
I'm sorry. Hold on. I think the Dominican women are built like the Dominican men that go to look for Dominican women. Honestly, like there's a few. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like on YouTube, if you look for like Dominican women, like if you watch the videos where where to find Colombian women, where to find the Dominican women type things, it took me an hour and a half to find one that I would actually sleep with in videos. Like it was so bad. It took me a solid hour and a half to find one where I was like, yeah, that's hot. Like I thought about the Dominican Republic for when I was debating in 2021 where to go, and honestly, then I was like, yo, this is bad. Like this is not. And then you go in Colombia, and then like 99% of them are hotter than anything you're going to see anywhere else in the world. So it's just, I mean, and usually, I guess growing up in a city that had a lot of Dominican women, a lot of times they're not very good. They're not very nice. But I don't know. That's what's everybody else's take on that. And somebody asked if they're married. Scott, I was married for 17 years and then got divorced. And Paulie is currently married. I initiated my divorce.
Yeah, I never really spent that much time in the Caribbean or like in Mexico and stuff or Central America, just because it was a little too close to America. And like I have this thing where like when I travel, I really want to be a far away from Americans as possible. Not like any shade on Americans whatsoever. I just want to like when I go to another culture, I really want to be in that culture, and so I really wanted to like kind of like go far away. So by the time I traveled enough, I just like now I don't really have the urge to go to the Dominican Republic or whatever. So yeah,
¿Qué hora es, Paul? Tú tienes esposa. Yo necesito amor.
my wife says that I have a wife and she needs some love. 15 minutos.
Eso es mucho tiempo, baby. Necesito cariñito.
She says 15 minutes is a lot of time. I need some love. 15
Yeah,
minutos.
I
A
understand what
9.
she says.
¿Tú sabes lo difícil que es tener una esposa latina?
She says, "Do you know how difficult it is to
Oh,
have a Latina spouse?" Sí, lo sé como
yes.
difícil está.
Entonces,
Entonces,
Come on here.
Entonces, that's Luis's favorite saying is entonces.
I use entonces a lot with her. Entonces is like the word I use to end any argument. I'm like entonces, and it's the end, and so that's what she's saying. Okay, baby,
Quiero amor.
pasamos todo día juntos hoy, ¿sí o no?
Dame un besito y me voy.
Okay,
Te amo.
15 minutos.
First name, I can attest that Paulie's wife has a cute voice and she is very cute. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect his wife, but she's very attractive and she seems like such a sweet person.
Guys,
So,
guys heard from him. Yeah, dude, I just like he here's the thing about the wife reveal is like, first of all, I've revealed my wife here and there. Like there are wife reveal Easter eggs. If you go through all of my live recordings on YouTube, you'll probably find her here or there. But she's just a very sensitive person, and the internet can be a very negative place. And I just don't want to subject her to that. So that's why I don't like reveal my wife. But
on that subject, before you gotta get and go, give your wife some attention. That's what drives me nuts about those guys that make videos of the walking around in Cartagena. And I know I've watched them, and I now feel bad about it. But after meeting some of the women in that, it has ruined some of their lives. Like there's that one where the guy's like 6'5" and jacked, and he's always walking around, and the women are all staring at him, and he thinks it's because he's attractive. It's because they're trying to get his attention so that they can get money from him. But like one of my friends who's a working girl is in one of his videos, Mary, and her family, who did not know what she did, saw it and like was upset. And she, like, her whole family like was so upset with her for doing that. And like I feel so bad for her because like this guy's video goes viral all the time, and it's like it's just kind of disrespectful to walk around. Yes, I know you can, and I know there's no expectation of privacy in public, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I also
so on the subject.
Oh, sorry, continue.
That.
I also think it's just like such a weird flex when people do that. It's just like, oh, look at all these prostitutes who like me. And it's like, oh, congratulations, bro. like wow.
Like, yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, yeah, it's a weird flex. Like, yeah, I'm gonna share pictures of them if I have permission.
Yeah.
But if they send me a photo, I ask them, I'm like, hey, can I, maybe use this in a video? It doesn't say what you are. It doesn't say anything like that. It just, or share it with the two groups of my friends that might be interested in coming down. The amount of photos I have that I don't send, I might send 10% of the photos that I get on a daily basis that I might share to the Discord, or that I might share to a group chat or things like that. But like if I sent all the photos I got in a day, I don't even look at all the photos I get in a day sometimes. Sometimes I get messages on like I open them and I close it because I get so many from the women that are like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, I already have plans. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. By the way, guys, just so people know, I I don't actually have to go right now. She was just kind of like teasing me. So like now that I've quit my job to do this full time, it's like I literally spent the entire fucking day with her. So like she has no grounds to stand on. Mm-hmm. That like she's like I need. She said I need some love, and I'm just like we literally spent the entire day together. This is the time when I can do live. So. Don't worry, we're gonna go on for another like 10-15 minutes. Yeah, what's up, lol? What can I do for you? What can I do you for?
He's muted. I don't know if he knows that.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was taking a rip on. It sounded like he was taking a rip on a certain type of water pipe. You know what I mean? A minute ago, I thought I heard some sounds in the background.
Yeah.
But,
I muted him when
yeah.
he came on because it was just like, you were in the middle of a sentence. And sometimes
Yeah.
people come on and they just initially start talking, even if someone else is talking. So I just started muting people. But yeah, Esteban and Lol, if you guys want to talk, feel free to go ahead.
I'm in I'm in Monterey this weekend.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
It's a beautiful place.
How about you, Lol? What's up with you?
All right.
Real, real
Dude,
chatty bunch.
What was your old job that let you travel so much before?
I was a remote sales rep, and so
Okay.
one funny thing that happened is that from like 2012 to 2022 ish, like that 10-year time span, it was much easier to travel abroad as an engineer than it was as a sales rep. Like sales reps kind of had this thing where it's just like, be in the boiler room, make 1,000 calls, that type of thing, right? While engineers are like, you're the talent, you can travel abroad. Since 2022, though, the entire dynamic has kind of flipped, where engineers are viewed as much more of these interchangeable assets for companies. And the companies are like, no, we want you here working 16 hours a day, and we want to watch you do it because we don't trust you, right? While salespeople now, it's more of like, well, we only really care about revenue numbers. So if you're closing deals, we don't care where you are. So right now, it's a lot easier as a sales rep to travel abroad than it is as a engineer.
What industry?
My first sales job was in tech. I was doing tech for a while. Honestly, like in May, so it was in tech, and then I kind of started my own agency for a couple years. The whole story is a lot longer, but and then in February, after I got engaged, me and my wife were like, okay, I need to get like a more stable job for like, we're planning on starting a family. And I got a job with this digital marketing agency that wasn't really run that well. And I realized it after like a month or two. But it was during that month or two where I was realizing how I was not going to be making that much money with them that my TikTok really started to pop off. And like I got 1,000 followers my first week. And so me and my wife were like, okay, well, this agency's not working, but the good thing about it is that I was able to dedicate a lot of my time during working hours to growing my TikTok. So that was kind of the gamble that I did. So for like 5 or 6 months, I was working with them. Again, not really making that much money because a lot of structural problems with the agency, but I was growing my TikTok. And then a week ago, I officially left, and now I'm doing this full time.
Are you making decent money with TikTok and your book and stuff?
I'm making okay money. I'm making enough money for us to survive on. One great thing about my wife, one great thing about a lot of Latinas in general, but one thing about my wife specifically is that my wife has really, really basic tastes. She does not like fancy stuff. Her and I both are also like really religious, so we're planning, even when we start making a lot of money, we're planning on giving most of our money away to poor people anyway. So for us, it's like, we're kind of, tightening our belt for the next month or two, but we don't really mind doing that much. Speaking of which, if people want to support me, and also want to have a great trip, Cartagena group packages, link in bio. That's how we're making a lot of our money for the next couple months. I really, like a lot of people get mad at me for promoting this, but I actually think it's a really, it's a win-win situation. So Colombian Odyssey, I don't want to gas him up too much, but he really like, all those like TikTok videos that you see of people like living like the life in Cartagena. Like most of that stuff is BS. Like people are just like kind of lying about it. Like Colombian Odyssey literally lives that life in Cartagena every single day. And so this group package, we can talk about like the specifics of like how many rooms are in the mansion or like what specific beach club we're going to. Fundamentally speaking, is like if you watch the videos of people in Cartagena and you're like, hey, I want to live that lifestyle for a week. Like Colombian Odyssey, there's literally no person on planet Earth that's better to put that together for you than him. And that's why my first group package, I was reaching out to somebody. He was the logical first step because he's literally living this life every single day in Cartagena. It's literally the life that you guys want to live when you're visiting Cartagena. And he's like, I will plan all of this for you. I'll chaperone you around. And I'll make sure you guys have the best time of your life. Am I wrong about this, Colombian? Or
No, is the life that you want to live every day of your life is my random Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like I wake up in the morning, I go down to the coffee shop, I grab a coffee, I sit by the beach, I watch the waves, I get back to my place, maybe I get in my hot tub, maybe I get in my pool, I relax, my maid cooks me lunch, I go down to El Centro, I go meet a couple of girls, say hello, do some shopping. Then I go, to my boat when everybody's done running my boat for the day, and maybe I take it out and I just hang out in the water a little bit. I go back nighttime. I go to a bar. I go to a rooftop restaurant with a different Latina every single night. Basically, I just say, "Hey, where do you want to go dinner?" And first come, first serve. I send out 15 messages like, "Okay, I'm going to dinner in El Centro tonight. You want to go?" First one to respond. All right, that's it. That's who goes. And then when they all start texting back a few minutes later, like, oh, sorry, I already found somebody. It is what it is. It's too late. You should have been faster. That's my random Tuesday. Right now, I'm sitting in a hotel in Barranquilla about to go get a tattoo tomorrow. I took the bus. I'm making a little YouTube video out of it to see what a $200 forearm tattoo looks like after it's done in Barranquilla.
Yeah.
So it'll be pretty entertaining. I figure the worst case scenario, a $200 tattoo that would cost me $2,000 in America. If it comes out totally shit, the worst case scenario is it'll be great content. I'll make a couple bucks off of the content, and then I'll turn around and go to the States and get it lasered off in 6 months. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Like
in Cartagena, is there a lot of casinos and stuff like Medellin?
Rio Casino is literally a block from my place, and I hit for a couple $100 there the other night. I love it there. It's a lot of fun.
That's usually when I go to Medellin. I'm a degenerate gambler, so I like to go play.
Don't mind. I love betonline.ag does some really good lines for sports betting too, if you like that, and online casinos. But I know we should talk about that on TikTok.
I've been trying to stay away from the online stuff, just the in person. And the Colombian casinos are fun because the women there are beautiful.
I highly recommend doing that.
Too.
As somebody who's a gambling, I used to be gambling. Well, I'm still a gambling addict. I just don't gamble anymore. I managed to quit.
Yeah.
The gambling on your phone gets really dangerous really quickly. Like you'll be up at like 1:30 in the morning betting on Indian cricket.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you have no idea. Like I literally one time bet on a Vietnamese badminton game. And I lost money. So
listen, I bet the other day on an Australian tennis match who would get the next point. I ended up winning a bunch of money on that, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm on a roll. I've been guessing it every time. Let me just sit here. And I put like $150, $200 on it. I was like, fuck. it lost. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I won like 7 in a row. Nope. It's one of those things you can.
It's a funny thing.
Really nice, really clean.
Gamblers really understand how you don't win gambling. You know what I mean? I've been in so many conversations where there's a guy who's just like, yeah, man, I won $200 yesterday. I won $300 on Sunday. I won $100 on Friday. I'm like, well, you didn't mention what happened on Saturday. And on Thursday, what happened those days? Oh yeah, I lost $5,000. Okay, so you're down. Yeah.
Oh, I lost $1,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like you look at your stats at the end of the month, and you're like, shit.
But
I lost how much money last month?
That's why going to a casino is
Mhm.
nice though, because it allows you to kind of externalize it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, and especially like, I think Vegas is actually kind of like a perfect situation. Or it was before sports gambling just took over entire society. Whereas like if you wanted to gamble, you had to go to this city in the middle of a desert. And it's like you could be a degenerate gambler for like 5 days, but like
Still gotta go
eventually
home.
you're gonna go broke, right? And you have to take the plane right back. Anyway,
So with Cartagena, because I've only been to Medellin. I've been to Medellin 3 times, but right now I'm in Mexico, and then next week I go to Thailand and Philippines. But like Cartagena versus Medellin, do you really like Cartagena more? Like, I mean, it seems like I've always kind of shit on Medellin.
So I feel like
Paulie.
you need to be qualified to answer this. Paul, you want to answer it?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Cartagena is way better than Medellin. Medellin right now is a place that, like, as a gringo, I don't think you should go. I know there are a lot of people who disagree with me on this. I just fundamentally think that like places that like the local population do not want Americans going there, you should find other places to go. And like it also just doesn't conceptually make sense to me of the idea of like, like Medellin's fine. It's a nice place, but like, I always prefer being on a boat to being in the mountains. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a much better experience. So I would 100% say go to Cartagena over Medellin.
Yeah, I'm kind of burnt. I don't know if I'd go back to Medellin anymore. It's just like,
Yeah.
Well,
The weather.
sorry, continue.
I'm gonna start trying to
The
do
weather
this.
is definitely nicer in Medellin, but the weather is much cooler in Medellin by about 10 degrees, maybe 15, and less humidity. But other than that, it has nothing that Cartagena doesn't, and Cartagena has beaches. It has islands. It has the mud volcano. It has four-wheeling adventures. It has all kinds of cool stuff you can do, and it still has the beach, and it still has all the same women. Do you know how many of the women that come over here and are like, "Yeah, I just left Medellin last week." So guess what? Everyone that you're seeing there, you can see here, and you can see them in bikinis. It's just like
Do you think Cartagena's
I
safer?
don't understand the obsession and why everybody dick rides Medellin.
Well, so
I say it's way safer.
I can
I
honestly
don't have
explain
any
it.
fear of like the tourists, of the people.
It's honestly a function of the TikTok algorithm. I can tell you guys as like, somebody who's like full-time creator now, like the TikTok algorithm rewards two main things. The first one is talking about things that other people are talking about, and two is positivity, right? So you have all these creators who are literally lying about Medellin just because they know that if they're talking about Medellin and they talk about it in a positive way, the algorithm is going to reward them. A lot of people are going to watch it because people are searching for Medellin, and then they see the video about you getting all these girls in Medellin, and then they share it with their friends, right? And that's how those creators get viral. But like, it's not actually the truth. It's just stuff that they're saying in order to get views on TikTok and views on Instagram. The actual true good places are the places that aren't going viral. So, as a general rule of thumb, if everyone's talking about it on TikTok, it's probably not a good place to go.
I agree with that. Well, that's kind of why I wanted to go to Monterey. Try something different. It's kind of a tier 2 city. It's not as much in the limelight. I feel like
That's
it's been all right.
That's what I've heard about it. By the way, speaking of which, if you want to go to Cartagena, a group package, link in bio, March 16th to the 22nd, $1,250 for 6 days.
I can't. I would go, but I work in March. I'm really busy with work. Otherwise, I saw your package. I'd go otherwise. But so in January, December, and in the summers, that's when I'm an engineer, so I travel a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm really busy in the summers, I'm really busy in the fall and the spring because I work for
Hey.
power plants.
So this is actually a good point. For other people listening too, is that if you can't make March, what I'd recommend doing, Esteban, is just fill out the form anyway and just say, "Hey, I can't make it to this trip. Let me know about the future ones," because we're planning. This is kind of our first trip, but me and Big Tex are planning on having a group package once a month, twice a month, going forward. So
I'll go on one of them.
I'm going to create like an email blast or something, and I'm going to start sending people emails who fill out the form and just being like, "This is our next package. This is our next package," or whatever. We're planning on turning this into a well-oiled machine. Unless Big Tex gets married in a month or two, and like he has to start watching, Bridgerton with his wife.
You should do a. I want to go to like Peru or Uruguay, Paraguay, like one of those places. I've never been to any of those. Do it because you've gone to those places, right?
We're planning. So I lived in Paraguay for like 8 months, and I spent a month in Peru. But like what I'm fundamentally trying to do with these trips, I was talking Club Odyssey up, but like it's 100% true. I'm trying to find the people in each of these areas who know these areas better than everyone else, right? And like are the experts of the areas, and have them curate the best experience that you could have for that area for you, right? So we're eventually going to find people in Peru, in Paraguay, in Argentina, in Chile, all these areas to create like the best Argentina experience for you, right? Like the best Mendoza experience. I think that's gonna be a great package, once we find somebody. But for now, this is kind of our first thing, so we're focusing on Cartagena. But Big Tex wants an excuse to fly around Latin America, building out these packages, and I'm very happy to give it to him. 1250, that's it. Yeah, dude, 1250 is a great deal, if I would say so myself. I was honestly pretty pissed after I saw what other people are charging for this. They're charging like $2,000, $5,000, that type of stuff. Someone asked on YouTube, 1250 covers 6 days, a boat, Airbnb, and four-wheelers. It covers that. It covers breakfast and lunch. It covers massages, and like fundamentally, I think the biggest value of it is, again, you're going to have Big Tex showing you around the city for 6 days and showing you all the best spots to go to. You should have the exact details on that picture so people don't have to ask. That's a great comment. I appreciate that. I will do that. So Randy Constance, if you're interested in it, and Mr. Carrier, if you're interested in it too, click on the link in my bio, click on the Cartagena group package form, fill it out, and I'll reach out to you. Anyways, Peru has amazing food, somebody said. Peru, I think, has the best like cuisine of any like country in Latin America. I think Mexico has like the best like street food, but when it comes to like sit down eating, I think Lima, Peru is the best city in the world, best city in Latin America for food. Do you have any other pressing questions? Anything else other than that? I can jump off and get my wife to stop being angry at me.
No, man, I'm good. I was gonna go up anyways. I'm gonna go hit the gym for a little bit and then get some sleep early because my tattoo appointment's like 9 a.m. So.
All right. Well.
But, yeah, man.
Thanks everyone for joining.
Saying hi.
Thanks, Esteban, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm doing these lives every weekday, 6 to 8 p.m. All right. Peace out, guys.
Cool, man. See ya.
See ya.